Oh, falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I've ever done. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Again, thanking you for this wonderful privilege to be able to share your word with your people. Yeah. Pray that you forgive me of my sins and cleanse me from my righteousness. Yeah. And in my body, and with my mind, fill with my heart. Yeah. The words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, acceptable in thy sight. Yes. The Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Yeah. In Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Recognize Mr. Potter, deacons, you, my other family. Again, good to see you. Caroline and your family, we are continuing to lift you in prayer. His family continuing to lift you in prayer as well. Just because you had a funeral and it's the Sunday after, doesn't mean you don't have those lonely nights, times of tears in bereavement of the loved one. It takes time, and many times it takes more time than others. So we've given you lifted in prayer. Call your attention to Psalm 23, verses 1 and 2. That's all we don't have time for today. Psalm 23, verses 1 and 2. Psalm 23, verses 1 and 2. If you don't mind, when we find it, you stand. Say from time to time back in Ezra's day, it would read from the scroll from 5 or 6 in the morning till noon. People would stand all around, 5, 6, 7 hours at a time. So they were excited to hear the word read. And we're just asking for just a couple of verses. Psalm 23, 1 and 2 reads as follows: The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. I'm talking about finding rest from the burden of the heavy load. Finding rest from the burden of a heavy load. Can you say that with me? Finding rest from the burden of a heavy load. One would think that when you receive Jesus Christ as your Savior and Lord, that you qualify for exemptions from burdens, stress, trials, heartaches, and disappointment. You think that you could have a waiver. But it seems that after you ask Him into your heart, many times your load gets heavy. The burden seems like that battery Energizer bunny battery. They keep going, going, time, Satan does his best to discourage us from living a life that is pleasing to God. But when you think about it, the Lord never told us that we would not have difficult days. He didn't tell us that life would be a bed of roses. Conversely, Jesus says, in this world, you're going to have tribulation. But be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. John 16:33. We don't mean to be depressed, to quit, to back up or slow down, to weep, to cry or moan. But because we're human, the human part of us gives way to tears. We suspend our tears and try to suppress them. We cry internally. And soon, what we've held on the inside for some time breaks through and begins to manifest itself on the outside. So we ask ourselves, why? What do I do next? You may say, I'm following God's word. I read my Bible every day. Talk to God every day.
Yes, sir.
I thank Him for waking me up in the morning. And I thank Him for laying me down at night.
Yes, sir.
I go to church on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
But what am I doing wrong? I believe God loves me. But when I call Him, it just looks like He takes so long to respond to my requests. My burdens are heavy. And it seems like I got to carry this load, Lawrence, all by. And if you're in such a predicament, don't feel alone. In fact, there are others carrying heavier loads than you. Someone complained about having no shoes till they saw a man with no feet. These times we're living in are tough times. But if you just take a look around, somebody else could very well be worse off than you. Perhaps you're disturbed because your job doesn't pay you as much as you like. But your next door neighbor has been unemployed for a long time. You're stressed because your roof is leaking. But you look out the window and the sheriff is evicting your house. Young people complain because you think your parents are too hard on you. But then you have a classmate that's being bounced around in an abusive foster care situation. So in our text, we see truth from the Word of God. And it can give us comfort and solace. Psalm 23:2 begins with He. What a unique way to begin a verse. He. Who is He? You're a casual reader of the Word. And you see He. You think He is the enemy. But if you look at the text prayerfully and meditatively, you'll see He 4 times in verses 2 and 3. It says, He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for His name's sake. Who can this He really be? In order to understand who He is, we got to go backwards. To verse 1. Where it says, the Lord is my shepherd. So He is the Lord. The psalmist seems to be relying on our remembering that he's speaking of the Lord, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Because he uses He in verses 2 and 3, and then switches to thou in verse 4, where he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. And so this He person is the Lord Himself. Someone may be wondering, well, which person of the Lord is the psalmist writing about? Because there's God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. to determine which person of the Trinity the psalmist was talking about, you got to look at the word Lord in your Bible.
Yeah.
Whenever you see the word Lord in all capital letters in the Old Testament, it's referring to Jehovah. The name Jehovah was so sacred to the Jews that before they would write it, they put down their old pen and pick up a new one just to write Jehovah. And so when the psalmist says the Lord, he's talking about Jehovah, the all-wise, almighty God. The text says, He maketh me. God made me. He can also make me. He formed me. He breathed into my nostrils the breath of life. He gave me 264 bones, 600 muscles, 970 miles of blood vessels, 32 feet of intestine, 32 minus 18. No, I'm just joking. About 4 minutes. The molars. A heart that beats 72 times a minute and a hand with 27 bones. Gave me eyes that can take pictures like a camera and send them to a brain to be developed. He gave me a tongue with 400 cups that can sort the sweets from the sours. And ears with 20,000 tiny hairs that can pick up high and low sound. And since God made me, He ought to be able to make me do what He wants me to do. So the psalmist says, He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He's speaking of Himself as a sheep. And as we all know, sheep are different from any other animal on earth. Every other animal can be trained and trained well, but not a sheep. You can train dogs and cats, elephants and lions, but it's difficult to train a sheep. You can let your dog out across town, and before you get back home, you'll be waiting on the porch for you. But you can put a sheep in the backyard, and he won't have enough sense to find his way to the front yard. Sheep are dumb, and yet the Lord says we're sheep. Psalm 95:7 says, For He is our God, and we are the people of His pasture, and the sheep of His hand. Then Isaiah says, all we like sheep have gone astray. The text says, He maketh me lie down. Now there are 4 instances where sheep won't lie down. And the first instance is, sheep will not lie down if they're frightened. If they're frightened of anything, they cannot rest. Fear is a terrible disease. Although you say, I'm not scared of anything, the truth is there are some things that come up in your life that'll scare you. There's some things that your money won't get you out of. Many people have fear in the back of their minds. Old folks fear time is running out. Young people are afraid of getting old. Some people are afraid if they go to the doctor will find something wrong. Sick folks are afraid that there's not a medicine to heal their diseases. Married folks are afraid that their spouses are unfaithful. Single people are afraid that they won't get married. Parents are afraid that their children will mess up. And children are afraid that the parents won't understand when they do mess up. Paul tells us in 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. However, there's some things we ought to fear. We ought to fear taking things that contaminate our bodies, like illicit drugs, into our system. We ought to fear jumping to quick money schemes, trying to make a quick dollar overnight. There are some things we ought to fear. But secondly, sheep will not lie down if there's friction in the fold. If sheep cannot get along with other sheep, they won't lay down. Same thing happens in the body of Christ. It's hard to get rest when brothers and sisters are at odds. Friction among believers causes a spiritually hostile church environment. One is mad at the other. And when you have a hostile environment, it's hard to bring in and even birth new sheep. One sheep believes this way, another sheep believes that way, when the fact of the matter is, if both of them will just listen to the shepherd, Jesus said that we're to love one another Love is the Christian's identification card. Love is a spiritual antiseptic that neutralizes friction. Paul told the church at Ephesus, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. In other words, if you're upset with someone, settle it before sundown. Sometimes the person you're mad at doesn't even know, and in some cases really could care less. But God wants us to be in harmony with one another. He says, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God has forgiven you for Christ's sake. When there's division among the saints, we got to make it right, because we cannot rest when there's friction in the body of Christ. But thirdly, sheep will not lie down if there are problems with flies, fleas, and parasites. When sheep graze, especially in the summer, flies crawl up in the noses and ears and lay eggs. And the eggs become tiny worms and crawl all inside the sheep. The worms drive the sheep to the point of running to the thicket and butting his head against a tree. And he'll move his head from side to side, trying to get rid of the parasites. Unfortunately, they disturb him until he can't rest. And in case you're wondering, well, what does that have to do with us at Mount Olive? There might be somebody here that something is bugging you, where you can't get much sleep. If so, you have some spiritual flies, fleas, and parasites in your life. Sometimes the tiniest thing will keep you up at night. It could be somebody that didn't speak to you today, or something that happened on your job, something that happened in a committee meeting at the church where somebody didn't like your idea. So all of a sudden you've allowed the flies and fleas to crawl up into your mind. You banging your head against the rest of the committee, going crazy. When stuff starts bugging you, it's hard to get along with folks around. Sometimes friends or family are short with you. They don't mean no harm. They just have something bugging them. They want to tell somebody, but if they figure they do, then it will probably be all over town. And they don't want to run the risk of additional infestation. They have all they can deal with right now. The last thing they need is some more flies, and some more fleas, and some more parasites. So when stuff is bugging you, you can't sleep or eat, and you end up losing weight, and when you're not even on a diet, you feel rotten, and nothing seems to be going right. You don't feel like going to church. You call in sick on your job. You want to talk to the person bugging you, but you know that you probably just make a mess out of it. When you get ready to tell somebody else, it dawns on you that the person you're going to tell tells everybody business too. So you feel, I'm probably just going to leave that alone, because I'm liable to hear it again in another verse. So you decide to keep all of that parasitic infection wrapped up on the inside of you, and it's driving you crazy. Parasites not only rob you of your rest, but they rob you of your resources. Parasite is a little tick that sucks blood. People can be parasites too. Parasite is a person who won't work, but always wants to eat. Who don't have a car, but always ride. Who never buys clothes, but they always look sharp. They sleep all day and run the streets all night. They never make a contribution, but they want you to contribute to them. They never clean up, but you're always cleaning up after them. They are rest robbers. They just suck all the blood out of you. While you keep working overtime and 2 or 3 jobs to make it, because you've been turned into a parasite enabler. Parasites are like pimps. They'll misuse you and then kick you to the curb when you can't serve them no more. The fourth thing, sheep will not lie down when it has no food. Sheep have 2 stomachs. The first stomach is where the food goes in when it's first eaten. And the second stomach is where it really enjoys the food when he lays down. While lying down, he regurgitates it back to stomach number 1, where he's able to digest it completely. Our feeding of the Word of God is the same way. Sunday morning is not enough for you to really digest the Word. It goes in, and you try to hold every bit of it. But once the service is over, you need to find time through the week to let it come back up to speak to you as an individual. Well, something is bugging you. You need to saturate your spirit with the Word of God. When the psalmist says, He maketh me lie down in green pastures, he's not only talking about grass, he's also talking about the nourishment we get from the Word of God. Most of us don't read the Bible till we have a crisis. We want to keep doing our thing our own ways. We have a Burger King mentality. We want to have it our way. But when burdens get heavy, times get tough, and situations become more than we can bear, we find ourselves looking into the Word. Say, Lord, speak to me today. Whatever answer you need in life can be found in the Word of God. In verse 2 of our text, God is saying, in essence, I know you won't just go to the green pasture on your own. I've got to make you go there. I'm going to have to take some of your toys away from you. As long as your car's running, you won't come to church on Sunday. As long as your little boat is working, you're out at the reservoir or down to Brookfield on Sunday. You won't break off that unhealthy, sinful relationship that's causing you to sin. So I'm going to run interference and make it break off. God can and will do it because the Word nourishes us. When you think of sheep eating grass, you think in terms of something with protein and vitamin and minerals that they need to thrive. And the Word of God gives us all of the nourishment we need to make it from time to eternity. We just need to settle down and take it in. Psalm 46:10 tells us to be still. Exodus 14:13 says to stand still. And Psalm 1 and 2 says that while we're still, we ought to meditate day and night